Hello and welcome to another video. We have today, specifically based on the fact I've got the other video out, a T95E2 gameplay. I wanted to eventually show off what it is that makes the tank actually okay. I mean, it does have some redeeming factors. I'm currently in a tier 8 game, which, because of its premium matchmaking, you will find on a regular basis it does do. And as much as I dislike playing it now as a comparison to before, both in the case of how it physically plays and how other tier 8 premium matchmade tanks in general outperform it, as well as other tier 8 tanks, mediums specifically, it does have its good redeeming factors. One of the ways in which I like this tank is it supports my aggressive nature. Going forwards, being with the team, you can actually play really well and have some decent games. This is a very good example of such a game. The overall armor of the tank, we're going to go back into it, is not particularly amazing, but given the fact that I'm in a tier 8 game such as this, you are going to consistently bounce tier 7 shells. So if you have that opportunity to go forward and, in this case, take on 2 tier 7 tanks, you're going to notice that you're going to have a better game. So what are we looking at here? Very little on our side. This is an ideal gameplay, certainly one where I'm going to try and take advantage of it. I'm facing off against tier 7s that are going to reliably bounce my turret armor because I'm not able to get fully over the top, and I have the support of my team. The damage that I can output, as well as the reload, specifically on the base that they're rolling back, means that by the time they come over to try and engage, I can shoot them, and I can pen them reliably as well. And if they do shoot me, they're likely to bounce. Overzealous Comet getting a nice little shot into the turret, somehow goes through. 173mm penetration is not good. Not good at all. Specifically, crap is the best way of placing it. Unfortunately, he gets a nice ammo rack on me there, but I have repair kits. But only the small ones. I don't fancy using large ones. The other things that let this tank down, aside from the penetration, is the low shell velocity on the AP shells, and just the gun handling itself. There are a lot of times when over longer range engagements, you're not going to be anywhere near useful. So which is why the reason why I say be aggressive and go forward as long as you have a team there. If you need to get back, you can do. The mobility is there for you as well. One thing you don't want to do is come up against Onis and OIs, because you will definitely bounce and never go through them unless you fire heat in a specific weak spot as well, as long as they don't angle too. Another thing to take into account with the tank is the view range. 390 meters. Not really one you want to go out spotting with. It kind of, so to speak, solidifies its status as a tank that you don't want to spot with. You don't want to keep at long range. You just can't play this tank at long range. You need to move forward and you need to have the team supporting you. Not that being said, it is still a good tank for that reason. So, taking advantage in this case that people haven't come around the side, go for it. Their team is being hesitant. Now, you won't always find this being the case, which is all well and good, because every game is completely different. If you have the opportunity to, do it. Generally, if you want a decent amount of silver, not including ops, about 10 or 12 damaging hits. At the moment, I'm just trying to go for the tracking targets, but he decides to repair for some, I don't know, strange reason, because he's almost dead. So, go figure. But anyways, sorry, Mr. Craft Panther. Playing this more aggressively is about the only way I've enjoyed playing this tank. Even without the team support, being in a position to hold people back, using a little bit of the reload is ideal. You've just got to take into account that if you come across highly armoured targets, and oh my god, if you're in a tier 9 game, don't do it. Try and aim at weak spots. Try and be the peekaboo shooter, if you can do, because you're not really going to do much else. Fortunately, with the way the game's gone now, their team has been extremely passive and staying on the right-hand side. The tanks they sent around the left were in dribs and drabs, so pushing around with the heavies that we had in our team was a doddle. So take advantage of it, especially in any premium tank, really. Take advantage of it. Go for it, because you're going to get a lot of silver. The other thing with this tank is you'll find aim at lower tiers. Go for tier 7s. If you can go for anything that has no armor. The Scorpion up there, I don't really get a nice shot on him. But go for things that you can reliably penetrate. Don't try and shoot things that are iffy, because you're probably going to bounce. The gun is just not reliable enough to support your needs to actually put damage in a game. So in this case, taking shots at the rear end of an Indian Panzer. Going forward, I did load up HE rounds because I was assuming the Scorpion had come over the top, but nope. Again, rear end of a T32. I know he's a one-shot, but that's irrelevant. I just want to make sure I get the hit. The aim time, not amazing, so you just got to be wary that you are going to be sat still, and if you're in the open, artillery will probably take a shot at you, and because artillery is artillery, it's probably going to do a lot of damage. Fortunately, 86 to a Reveler Resay is a bit of a piss take, to be perfectly fair, but that's wargaming. One of the other things I find that if you slap on every perk possible to improve the aim, you will find little tweaks that make things better. So your ability to snapshot does actually go up quite a bit. If you are wanting to take people out medium range, still within my view range itself, so more or less down there, maybe about 300 meters, maybe a bit more. Without the counter, I'm not too sure. You can sort of take the risk. Not as reliably as other tanks, but you can still have that risk there for it. And if you want to snapshot, you'll probably do well. Just make sure you don't fire as soon as you get on target. Just leave it a bit, just for the server to update, so you can actually have an idea of you are going to be in the general area where that tank's firing. This isn't a game that I find myself in on a regular basis. I don't necessarily do this well all the time. So do take it with a pinch of salt. Don't view it as being, oh, that's definitely going to be the game that I'm going to be getting on a regular basis. It's not. I usually do about 2,000, 2,500. And again, that's just on the base of it being about a 10 damaging hit game. So it's not something that's difficult to get. Decent amount of silver from it, maybe about 50 or 60,000. Usually get a little bit more, but that's okay. I'll deal with it. Face hugging the Craft Panther in front is aiming at what is a massive weak spot, which is the cupola on top. Unfortunately, even turning the turret left and right is not going to bounce. It's not going to reliably remove his shot from existence. But it's okay. I had the HP pull. I can go forward and deal a shed load of damage. So we'll have a look at the actual results of the in-game. And what do we have? Well, we have an op-on. So we got 152,000 silver. We did 4,097 damage, 2,751 base XP. We only bounced 775. But they were against tier 7 tanks, so that's a given. 27 shots fired, with 20 penetrations and 22 direct hits. The ones that actually missed were a bit of a meh. Trying to shoot light tanks is not an ideal factor, especially when you consider the shell velocity is extremely low in this tank. But overall, a relatively good game. So you can have a decent game in this tank without a shadow of a doubt. It's just you can't consistently have good games in this tank. There are too many factors that let it down on a regular basis. And I'm not the only one to know this to be, I hate saying the word fact, but it is crap. And it is fact. I'm going to link in the description below a thread that was made on the 24th of December on the World of Tanks normal PC version, because it highlights issues with the tank in a very informative way. The other thing to take into account is that their version on the PC is not so different from ours, except we get lower penetration and we get 390 meter view range rather than 400. And aside from the fact that they give examples of why the tank is good and crap, they also give examples of how it is that the tank can be made better. So have a look at the thread itself. Only really the first post you want to have a look into, and then make your own mind up as to what happens. If you have this tank, let me know below what you actually think to it and how you play it, because as far as I can tell, play aggressive, play with a team, negate the fact that you have to have terrible gun handling and you can't shoot over long range, and you have terrible penetration, so you have to shoot people on the side. And if you have that in a comparison between another premium match made tank that's a tier 8 premium, by all means let me know the difference as well, because I'm intrigued to see how different people play. But if you did like the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful guys later.